Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. In my endeavour to create new Edwardian undergarments, I came across bust improvers. These have been around for decades and were used to improve the silhouette, particularly for turn of the century into that pigeon look. Mine is based on an example from the LACMA Museum. I also found this wonderful blog post by Atelier Nostalgia, which I will link down below, that explores the silhouette. My materials for this were lace, some plain cotton, and polyester filling. Of course, these aren't accurate, but they would serve my purpose well. To start off, I draped the rough shape on my dress form. The shape consists of a pad-like structure with two oval shapes that are filled. I will leave a link down below to my pattern. Please keep in mind that this works for me, but might need adjustment if you choose to use it. I cut the large central piece on the fold, and then cut two of the circles. I added a 1/2 inch seam allowance to the oval shapes only, as the large pad shape would be bound and did need a seam allowance. The next step was to turn under the raw edges of the circles. I pinned them in place and then hand basted them. Using an iron and lots of steam, you can reduce the bulkiness of the circle hemming and make it lay nicer. I didn't have quite the right type of lace for this, so instead I sewed two different laces together into one continuous piece. Then I sewed a row of gathering stitches just by setting the stitch length on my machine to its longest setting. This is then gathered to fit the oval shape. To gather, you need to pull on the bobbin thread and then spread out the gathers nicely. I usually make sure one end of the stitches is secure by knotting or wrapping them around a pin, and then start gathering. This ensures you won't accidentally pull out the threads, which has happened to me. I then pinned it onto the oval shape. I used my machine to carefully sew the lace onto the oval shapes and then removed my basting stitches. I moved on to working on the pad. I forgot to mention, but I also cut out the pad shape from one layer of cotton, a denser cotton than my original one, because I thought the original one was too lightweight and it needed a little bit more structure. So I basted these two together around the edges to make them into one layer of fabric. I started by binding all the edges with bias tape for a clean finish. I wasn't worried about top stitching on this, so I used my iron to fold my bias tape in half and help shape into curves. Then I simply fit it around the raw edges, pinned in place, and sewed down by machine. This took a little while due to the corners. I then repeated the same process for the lace on the oval shapes and used that lace for the top edge of the pad. I arranged the gathers, pinned it into place, and then sewed it down by machine. I pinned the oval shapes into place on the pad and sewed them down by machine. I left a 1 to 2 inch gap at the bottom edge so I could get the stuffing in. I used polyester toy stuffing for this. I rolled small chunks between my hands to make them a little denser and then stuffed them into the oval shapes. I pressed down occasionally to better distribute the filling until I was happy with the size. I then used the whip stitch by hand to close the gap at the bottom. And that was that. It was a really nifty quick project and I think it looks great. Stay tuned to see what will go over it. Thank you for watching.